So, in this topic, we are going to discuss about the aesthetic design. Aesthetic design is also called as a graphic design. That is, it mainly focuses on the look and feel, how beautiful a web application is going to be visually to the user, that is being designed with the aesthetic design. So, the way in which the users will look, how far it will attract the users, the number of users that will be using that web application will be increases, is mainly depending upon this aesthetic design. So the first one in this aesthetic design is the layout issues. So for this, general layout guidelines has to be considered, that is called as don't be afraid of white space. So it is inadvisable to pack every square inch of a web page. So if some sort of space is being remain vacant in a web page, we should not worry. As a designer, the designer of that web page or web application must not worry with that. Emphasize content. The reason the user is here is a typical web page should be 80% content with the remaining real estate dedicated to navigation and other features. So most of the thing that will be focusing on the application domain. Organize layout elements from top left to bottom right. The vast majority of users will scan a web page in much the same way as they scan the page of a book, like top left to bottom right. If layout elements have specific priorities, high priority elements should be placed in the upper portion of that real estate page, for example. Next, group navigation, content and function geographically within the page. Humans look for patterns in virtually all things. If there are no patterns within a web page, user frustration is likely to increase. Don't extend your real estate with the scrolling bar. Although scrolling is necessary, most studies indicate that users would not prefer to scroll. So more and more data inside one web page must not be there. So if we have a web page that visually up to that content, if you place all the content, reduce the page content and place only the necessary content in the web application web pages. So whatever that are necessary and important and valuable, that must be kept apart from more text, more graphics and designs and so on. Consider resolution and browser window size when designing layout. Rather than fixing the layouts for some systems, it has to be applicable to all the kinds of layouts. The next one is graphic design issues. So graphic design considers every aspect of look and feel of a web app. So the graphic design process begins with layout and proceeds into consideration of global color schemes, text types, sizes, styles, audio, video and other aesthetic elements of application. So the next one is content design. Content design focuses on two different design tasks, each addressed by individuals with different skill sets. First, a design representation for content objects and mechanisms to establish their relationship to one another is developed. In addition, the information within a specific content object is created. So, the latter task may be for copywriters, graphic designers and others who generate the content to be used within a web app. The first one is in content design is content objects. So the relationship between content objects defined as a part of requirements model for web app and design objects representing content is analogous to relationship between analysis classes and design components. So for example, we will take the same example of Safe Home e-commerce system. We are having the analysis class product component. The analysis class attribute description is represented as design class named component description composed of 5 content objects. The first one is marketing description, photograph, technical description, schematic view and video. So that is being shaded shaded objects noted in figure 13.3. That is this one. That is, we are going to have the design class that is called product component. So for that we are going to have the component description. In that component description, 5 ways that is going to be a component is going to be described. That is in the form of marketing description, photograph, schematic description, video description and technical description. So in this way, design representation of content objects will be there for a component. Next one is content design issues. Once all content objects are modeled, the information that each object is to deliver must be authored and then formatted to best meet the customer needs. So that is authorized by the customers is very much important as far as the web application design is concerned. So next one is architecture design. Architecture design is tied to the goals established for a web app. So the content to be presented, the users who will visit and navigation philosophy that has been established. As an architectural designer, we must identify the content architecture and web app architecture. Content architecture will focus on the manner in which the content objects are structured for presentation and navigation, whereas web app architecture addresses the manner in which the application is structured to manage user interaction, handle internal processing tasks, affect navigation and present content. So in most cases, architecture design is conducted in parallel with interface design, aesthetic design and content design, because the web app architecture may have strong influence on navigation, the decisions made during the design action. And the next one is coming in the content architecture design is content architecture. The design of content architecture focuses on the definition of overall hypermedia structure of the web app. That is the different kinds of media. Hypermedia means it may be audio, it may be video, it may be animations, it may be video. So all the kind of things that we are going to add here in the hypermedia. And we are going to have the linear structures that are encountered when a predictable sequence of interactions, that is how we are able to know the in which way the user is going to be interacted with the software or web application, that is called predictable sequence of interactions is common. A classic example might be a tutorial presentation in which pages of information along with graphics, short videos, audio are presented only after prerequisite information has been presented. So another example might be order entry sequence in which we know the order in before, that is figure 13.4 is making use of the linear structure. So this one is the linear structure, that is we are going to have different number of things that is in a linear fashion, and this is the linear with optional flow, that is you have different options of flowing from the first to last one, and this one is the linear with diversions. So these are all called the linear structures, where the sequence of interaction will be knowing before going to design. That is predictable sequence of interactions. Next one is grid structures. So these are all other architecture options that you can apply. Web content can be organized categorically in 2 or more dimensions. For example, consider the e-commerce site sell gold clubs. The horizontal dimension of grid represents the type of club to be sold, that is woods, irons, wedges and putters. The vertical dimension represents the offerings by various golf club manufacturers. So that is called this one. So this is the grid structure. So that is being followed in the form of a grid. There is a connectivity between all the kind of web pages and web content, web applications that is going to be navigated. So something like e-commerce. So next one is about the hierarchical structure. So hierarchical structure are undoubtedly the most common web app application architecture. So why? Because hierarchical structure can be designed in a manner that enables flow of control horizontally across vertical branches of the structure. Hence, content present on the far left hand branch of the hierarchy can have hypertext links that lead directly to content that exists in the middle or right hand branch of the structure. It should be noted, however, although such branching allows rapid navigation across web content, it can lead to confusion at the part of the user. So, figure 13.6 gives the hierarchical structure, that is being organized, web pages being organized level by level from one to another, that is going to be navigated. This is the most common type of architecture that is used in web applications. And next one is a networked architecture or pure web architecture is similarly in many ways to the architecture that evolves for object-oriented systems. So in this object-oriented systems, we are going to take the architectural components that are designed to pass control via hyperlinks to virtually every other component in the system. This approach allows considerable navigation flexibility, but at the same time, this type of network architecture is very confusing to the user. And the next one is web app architecture. The web app architecture describes an infrastructure that enables a web-based system or application to achieve its business objectives. So one of the best examples that we can take here to explain the web app architecture is MVC architecture, that is Model View Controller. It is one of the number of suggested web app infrastructure models that decouple the user interface from the web app functionality and information content. So this is here in this MVC architecture, we are going to have three parts, that is model, view and controller. Suppose we have a browser where the client is going to browse and the user is going to request the data. So it will go to the controller. The controller will manage the user's request and selects the appropriate model behavior and selects the view of response to the user. And if behavior request is changed, automatically model is to be selected. The model will encapsulate functionality, it will encapsulate the content objects, it also have all the web app states. So the data from model is given as the view, that is it will prepares data from model, request updates from model, presents view selected by controller, in which view that request must be given as the response, that is called view selection. So that is controller who is responsible for controlling the entire environment. Model is to give the modeling information and to give the response to the user by giving information, and the view is to be taken in the form of the HTML data. That HTML data, that is hypertext markup language, that is web page, will be given as response to the browser, again to the client, that is by taking the data from the model and requesting updates from the model, and view that is being given selected by the controller. So in this way MVC architecture will be supporting the thing. And the next one is navigation design. Once the web app architecture has been established and components such as pages, scripts, applets and other processing functions of the architecture have been identified, you must define navigation pathways that enable users to access web app content and functions. To do this, we should identify the semantics of navigation for different users of the site and define the mechanics of achieving the navigation. So the first one is navigation semantics. So like many web app design actions, navigation design begins with consideration of user hierarchy and related use cases. In which way the user is going to interact and what are the communications that is being given by the user with the system, that are called use cases, that are taken into consideration. So for each category of user or actor, each actor may use the web app somewhat differently. So each and every user or actor will be using the web app in his own style, and therefore have different navigation also requirements. In addition, the use cases developed for each actor will define a set of classes that encompass one or more content objects or web app functions. As each user interacts with web app, encounters a series of navigation semantic units that are called NSUs that defines a set of information and related navigation structure that collaborate in the fulfillment of subset of related user requirements. So this is an NSU is composed of set of navigation elements, that is the ways of navigating. So in Illustrate, let us take the same Safe Home software into consideration, that is the consider the use case, select Safe Home components. Here how we are going to create an NSU for the given Safe Home environment example. That is here the Safe Home Assure.com, where the product is going to be available, and the product will be given the component description with the help of the 5 things, that is marketing description, technical description, photograph, schematic information and video data that will be navigated to show description. So if you click on the product component description, the page will go to the navigation page, will do the description of component description, and again to show the product component, again from there the navigation will be done. And if the user will select the room, and from the room it will go to the product component, and the actor will take the navigation into bill of materials to take the billing. From that bill of materials it will maybe enter into the room, the link may go to the from product component to purchase that, and the link from coming from bill of materials is again from component description to purchase the product component. That is in this Safe Home software, how that is going to be used for navigation links, that is called navigation semantic units. So how that navigation is being done from one link to one web page to another web page, from one link to another link, that is called as how we are going to do, that is will be represented with the help of the NSUs, that is called navigation semantic units. And next one is about the navigation syntax. As the design proceeds, the next task is to define the mechanics of navigation. A number of options are available as you develop an approach for implementing each NSU, that is individual navigation link that include text-based links, icons, buttons, switches and metaphors. You can choose among these navigation links that are appropriate for content and for the consistent information and high quality interface design. And the next one is horizontal navigation bar. It will list major content or functional categories in a bar containing a links. In general, between 4 and 7 categories are listed. Vertical navigation column. The list major content or functional categories lists virtually all major contents within the app. If we choose the second option, such navigation columns can expand to present the content objects as a part of hierarchy. The next one is tabs. A metaphor that is nothing more than a variation of navigation bar or column represent context of functional categories as tab sheets that are selected when a link is required. Next one is sitemaps. So provide an all-inclusive table of contents for navigation to all content objects and functionality content within the web app. So in this way we are going to define the different types of designs, that is nothing but your navigation design. Thank you.